Set in a different reality from the Avengers, Fantastic Four First Steps tells of this reality's heroes, the Fantastic Four. They are made up of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, his wife Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, her brother Johnny, the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing. They are loved and celebrated, especially with the announcement that Reed and Sue are about to welcome their first child. However, a threat emerges in the form of the planet-eating space giant named Galactus and his herald, the Silver Surfer. With the world threatened, the Fantastic Four must do everything in their power to stop this vile threat. I remember like it was yesterday when I reviewed the last attempt at a Fantastic Four film, that one being the infamous Josh Trank adaptation. Needless to say, I don't look fondly on that one. In fact, I have not been entirely impressed with any attempt at a Fantastic Four film other than the unreleased 90s Roger Corman film. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It has a truly fascinating history. With the acquisition of Fox from Disney, us comic book fans knew that meant Disney could now utilize both the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. The question was then, how was Marvel going to adapt them? I can honestly say, not only did I thoroughly enjoy the film, I am in love with how the Fantastic Four were adapted. Instead of just saying they were in the 616 universe, the world where all of the Avengers movies take place, this movie takes place in a completely separate world. So no stupid cameos, no callbacks to previous films, there is nothing you need to see prior to know what is going on. Also, this is not an origin story. Like Spider-Man Homecoming, the filmmakers here assume you know the origin. Yes, they do briefly go over it, but it's not like we spend an hour or so showcasing the whole story. This was incredibly welcoming to me, and I imagine to audiences as well. The dynamic between all the characters was magnificent, which is crucial to getting them down correctly as, at the end of the day, they are indeed a family. Reed was quite possibly my favorite in the film. The writers, director, and Pedro Pascal understood his comic counterpart. He is hyper-fixated on science, is socially awkward, and while he will do anything for his friends and family, he does have the mind to question what is the best moral thing to do. I thought the effects were handled nicely also, particularly on the Thing and Galactus. I will always love makeup and practical effects, and the early 2000s Thing makeup has a special place in my heart. That being said, I thought the design here was even better. The details on Ben's skin, the sounds of stone moving when he moves in any way, all the attention to detail is craftsmanship at its finest. As for Galactus, a character who is larger than a planet, I assumed they were just going to create another CGI character, and while he is enhanced by CGI, I was immensely surprised to learn it was mostly done practically. The actor was in a fully detailed costume and was added to the scenes using different methods. Seriously, I was so impressed when I learned this that I did consider going to an IMAX screening at one point to see how the costume and character would look. Still, even on a regular screen, it was unbelievable to witness. The world building of this world and inhabitants is another thing I love. It's supposed to be a 60s type future. We still have people in clothes very similar to the 60s, and there are a ton of callbacks, but it feels as if this is something Walt Disney would have imagined the future would be like. In fact, it feels very much like Disneyland's Tomorrowland section of the theme park. Regardless, the aesthetic is pleasing to the eye. I also greatly enjoyed the music for the film, particularly the theme for the titular heroes. It has become extremely catchy over the months leading up to the film's release, and is now a theme I find myself humming from time to time. Again, the music is very similar to old TV shows, or even old music you would hear from the 60s. This is a soundtrack I might even consider picking up, not even joking. But with all my praise, there are some things to critique. I do believe the film goes by rather quickly. Something about the pacing feels like the movie is racing to finish. Maybe something more could have been added, perhaps a scene or two, but it felt like a relatively quick film. Speaking of time, the film is supposed to take place over a series of time, and while you can tell time is passing, I never felt like it did a particularly good job saying how much time has passed. We can tell via the seasons and the age of baby Franklin Richards, but still, maybe some title cards or something else could have helped. Lastly, I was a little surprised that Mr. Fantastic's stretching powers were not showcased too much. While I was disappointed, I do have two theories as to why. Maybe it's because it's rather difficult to make that effect look convincing, since the other live action versions don't look too good. Or maybe the filmmakers wanted to highlight Reed's intelligence more, as that seems to be his true superpower. Regardless, I was indeed a little disappointed. Regardless, Fantastic Four First Steps is a fun ride. Is it the best film since Endgame? A statement and question I am sick of hearing? No, but it is a legitimately good and well made film. The actors have charisma, charm, and have great chemistry with each other. The effects are visually impressive, the world building is beautiful and imaginative, and the music is catchy and worthy of being downloaded. So, yes, I would say this is a film you should totally check out in the theaters. Hey, I didn't make a stupid "this movie is fantastic" pun. Nice.